Hi, it's Marie-Helene here with Effective Placement, and I wanted to chat today a bit about the importance of having a good quality document in terms of your resume. I've worked in the area of recruiting for over 20 years now, and what I can say for sure is that resumes that do not showcase your skill sets effectively, they just don't make the grade in terms of having you move forward to an interview. I see a lot of resumes from professional people, whether that be engineers, accountants, even people that have a governance background or have a legal background, and even people that have a specific quality assurance or quality control background. And all of these resumes that I see, very few of them actually make the grade in terms of having me look at them twice or having me recommend that they move forward to an interview with a hiring manager. And the reasons are really quite simple. When you start off on a resume and you're telling me about all of the wonderful skills that you have, and then you're going on to list your education, I'm not really all that interested. Your education is assumed if you're applying for a particular role that has an educational requirement. I am interested in your skills, but I'm not interested in a one-page overview of all of the highlights of that. I want to see a succinct description of what your key highlights are, then a discussion of your professional experience, and then after that, I want to see your educational qualifications as well as any other credentials that you may have accumulated along the way. Now, a lot of people think that, well, I'll just get a resume, I'll just get AI to do it for me and it'll be lovely. I see a lot of AI resumes, and I can tell you this, they don't cut it, they don't make the grade, and I'm not the only recruiter who doesn't give them the attention that people think that they're going to get from using a different format in terms of writing. And the reason is pretty simple. When you're using a tool such as AI, you are getting a generic overview written in very generic terms without really putting any emphasis on some of the personality aspects that you may have or some of the capacity that you may have to actually relate to or have the values of an organization be something that you hold near and dear to yourself. So as a tool, AI is still fairly generic, and a lot of people are using it for a lot of different applications, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is that as a resume, it just is not the best tool for you to invest your time and energy in. Far better to work with someone who's going to be able to have a conversation with you, extrapolate the details that are important, put it together in a fairly concise document, and then submit that to a job that you're applying for or to a hiring manager for his or her review, because you may be aware that something may be coming up that requires your skill set. So it's really important to pay attention to the quality of the document, the tone of the document, and the content of the document. Quality being highlighting the areas that I've already indicated, tone indicating that you are aligned with an organization's values or with a particular position that you know that they will be looking for, and that makes such a difference for how you're perceived and how it is that you're going to be reviewed. So when you have a quality document for a resume, you are quite likely to get, at the very least, a screening interview whereby you speak with a recruiter and they talk a bit about your skill sets, they talk a bit about what you value, they talk a bit about what's important to you, and it goes from there. But if you're just going to present a generic type of document, that is something that I pre-screen out very regularly, and without even a second thought on it. I just look at it and I go, no, this is too generic. No, this just doesn't have what it takes. No, this is a 7-page resume when it really could be modified to 2 to 3 pages. Particularly for people who are applying for highly specific, highly technical engineering roles, there is something to be said for providing the highlights, not every detail. Now, I know that I'm going to use the engineering discipline as an example here. I know that engineers do need to get into a lot of detail in relation to the work that they do and be very specific. However, that specificity in terms of pages and pages of detail in a resume is not particularly useful. It actually isn't even something that a hiring manager wants to review. They're assuming that if you're applying, you've already got the specificity. And if you don't have the specificity, it'll quickly show up in terms of a recruiter doing a screen with you. All right. So documentation is paramount, and there's a lot of research out there right now that's talking about the impact of AI and its what it's doing in relation to people's capacity to think and reason. So you want to pay attention to that aspect as well. And if you just dive into some of the research that's available. You can Google it, you can find it online. It is there. Psychotherapists are recommending that you spend less time on AI. There are educational studies that are suggesting that really AI is not really great. You numb your capacity to think. So pay attention to those kinds of aspects if you think that AI is the be-all end-all in relation to putting forward a resume that's going to get you a job interview. That's really not where it's at this point in time. So if you like this reading, or if you like this information, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to have make an appointment in relation to a discussion about a resume and what that will take, again, you can contact me via the email that'll be provided on the box below, and I would be happy to work with you on providing you a document that will get you more traction than AI will. Thank you very much for listening. I do hope you have a good day, and as I said, I look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Bye for now.